Me some grace with traffic. Remember last week I was just
Took a
here by
wrong
the
turn.
grace. I took the wrong turn.
Yes.
Welcome, live viewers. We are having.
I don't have to play them foreigners when you.
Huh?
I don't have to play them foreigners when it's your turn.
I know, right?
You know when you hear them funny music. Hey, yeah.
I know, Mr. H. I was driving down. No, God. And we had a conversation about that this morning. Lord, we just thank
You
you
know
for this.
when they don't show up on time.
For you, he's prepped me this day. He's like, look, Robin, you know, by 5:30, traffic is terrible leaving my house at that time. So I have to leave at the top of the hour. Hello, beautiful people. We are getting ready to start with the less than a minute.
Here we go, girl.
We are.
Yay, God.
I know, right? I started a little 1 minute early. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to RFD Talk. I am your host, Robin F. David, executive producer. But I'm also a life coach, a certified life coach, where I help women with holistic approach to emotional wellness through pain and from pain to purpose. I'm also a CEO of the Golden Foundation. I'm super excited to be here with my co-host tonight. We have some great things happening here on the show tonight, so hold tight. First, want to shout out all of our before we go into our amazing topic tonight and all the fun things we're going to learn tonight. Want to shout out our amazing sponsors. I hope everyone had a beautiful weekend. I know that we are in March, and it's been so many amazing miracles for March, is what I named this month. Miracles in March. Expect suddenlies in March. It's one of those months, where you have mental wellness, you have Mother's Day, you have so many things. Oh, sorry, May. My co-host reminded me we're like in March from. So sorry, I'm stuck with. I got my M's mixed up. And we're in May, so miracles in May. Thank you, Takisha. I'm so glad that she reminded me we are in May, and I am super excited. I get excited when I have guests on the show, or co-hosts on the show, because she is a person that we look forward to hearing every month with all of her wealth of information about business. But before we go into talking about our topic today, I want to shout out Shay Me Down Handmade Body Butter, who is on Facebook. You can find Shay Me Down at Shay Me Down, Shay Me Down on Facebook, or you can email Shay Me Down at ShayMeDown06 at Gmail, which is one of my favorite body butters. And if you are able to hear how I sound so happy, it's because I use that body butter all the time. And if you can see me, Facebook viewers, and you can see me. YouTube viewers, my skin is glowing because of Shave Me Down. My other favorite is my Majestic Elegant Candles and Companies. And I appreciate them because today I was burning that candle and that wooden wick was just making a crackly sound. It just sounds so nice. So if you ever want a 100% soy toxin free candle, I invite you to go to livemajestic.com, where you can see the list of fragrances that they have there. So I appreciate our sponsors. And also, if you are not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, I will ask that you subscribe or share this page with someone that you know who is interested in finding out more information about RFD Talk and all the amazing topics with self-care, healing. We have authors, teachers, inspirational leaders, those ones that come in and talk about money, and we'll also be talking about health and fitness, and lifestyle. So join us here on RFD Talk every Monday at 6 p.m. Central here in the greater Nashville, right at the mighty 147 WVOL. We're super excited to be a part of the WVOL community. And also, one more thing before we go into our topic. What the segment we will not be the same if we don't talk about what did the Lord say to RFD. The Lord said to RFD this week. I actually, my daughter gave me back when I turned 50 4 years ago. She gave me 50 quotes. And of course, RFD likes words. I like scriptures, but I got a quote today. These quotes have been speaking to me. And one of the quotes is from Palarch. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, and I do apologize. And the Lord said to RFD, what we achieve inwardly will change outer outer reality. So what we achieve inwardly will change outer reality. So what you decide to change from the inward of yourself is what he is saying. It will show up in your outer world, and those are the things that we are really hoping to create in our life, but we have to do the work. So I thought that quote was really a part of like how I am when I'm teaching my clients the importance to do the work. You have to do the inward work in order to have the reality of your outward life. You have to put in the work. So with that being said, that is all that the Lord would say for me today. But I'm so honored to be the host, but I'm not the only host today. We will not be listening to me today. I'll be asking some great questions from Takisha, who came all the way in from Greater Murfreesboro, the other middle part of the Tennessee
Yes.
state. And we're so happy to have you.
Thank
So,
you.
Takisha, welcome back. I know we have you once a month, and we're so honored to have you. And she's just glowing, y'all. I don't know if y'all noticed this glow, but she's been out of town and had
Yes.
and a new chapter is starting in her life.
Yeah.
And today's topic, would you like to tell us about today's topic? I'm so looking forward to our
Yeah,
listeners.
I do. Like today, I saw something come across my screen, and it was an actual meeting that I had. I was a speaker, and it was talking about pressure cooking, and it was talking about like in business, we have these times in life where we have like we're on display, and the heat we have the heat of the pressure cooking. Pressure cookers, like you clamp them down and they cook very quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a bunch of heat that's like connected to making sure that whatever's in it cooks very quickly. And so in business, I've had moments where there was a struggle. Like there's no way you can get around sometimes going through the cycle of business where you have abundance one moment, and then you have the struggle. And it could be a struggle with, I always say that either that your struggles are kind of cyclical in that they come around often, but it's usually the same type of thing. Either you can't shout loud enough in your business, which means when you're trying to shout out and tell some people about who you are, people are not listening. So that's marketing. You have issues with finances. Like people are not buying or whatever. So you find the pressure in being able to kind of like keep things going when you're financially having issues. The other thing, and so that's, you want to get into black and you're in the red, right?
Yes.
And then the other thing is processes and procedures, like not having like the wheels start to fall off because you don't have all the things that you need in place. But all of those 3 or 4 things that happen in business can bring you into the pressure cooker where you have to find a way to reduce the heat. Like you can't even open the pressure cooker. Like you can probably ask him, like you can't even open up the pressure cooker until it calms down.
Wow.
Because if you open it, everything is going to burst out because it's pressurizing whatever is in it to cook it fast. So what do you do when you're under pressure? What you do, it absolutely matters what you do when you're under pressure and you feel the heat of business, the heat of no sales, the heat of not having your processes together. What are you going to do?
So what? Okay, so let our listeners again tell our listeners. I apologize. I love that. What do you do when you're in a press? But what is the name of your company? So we'll know.
Okay. Yes.
So we'll, for some of the new listeners and viewers, just give them a little bit about who you are and the name of your company, so that they'll have an idea.
Okay. So I own Girl Friday Business Solutions. We've been in business for 4 years. We do virtual executive assistant work for businesses and for entrepreneurs, small businesses. We're now getting into the mid-sized business and the large businesses. And so we work with C-suite professionals or entrepreneurs and help them in their back office. So that's mainly what we do. We started 4 years ago, and I feel like every year there's a pressure. There's a pressure to do something different in the business. And when I first started my first year, it was that everything, I had no packages. Everything was customized. So I would meet with someone, they would be interested in what I do and in the business, but I would ask them what they wanted and would have to leave them with nothing to share with them. I would, okay, so I would then go back, create a proposal, and then come back to them. Well, the cycle of business is that once you leave that person, you only have a short window for them to even remember who you are. Okay.
That's true.
And so not having packages in place where you can buy 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, 40 hours. I mean, I didn't have that. So that was a pressure cooker. I was in the pressure of trying to sell something and not really knowing what I was selling, and then being able to sit down and write it out so that someone would actually be able to accept what I had. It wasn't until I had a mentor actually say, you need some packages here. You need to put something in writing that they can chew on. And once I did that first year, that helped me then sell and be able to sell my services and have something that wasn't just have it your own way. Okay, that doesn't work. Um, a good example is McDonald's. The reason why McDonald's is probably the largest fast food restaurant out there is because they decided that they were going to have something that was re- duplicatable. Their hamburgers, like ketchup, mustard, pickles,
Mhm.
onions, it's the same amount of ketchup. They have a squirt bottle. There's no, like, they know what they're doing. And so in business, we have to do the same thing. It's basically what I'm saying is in business, what I learned the first year in my pressure cooker was that I had to have something that was sustainable, and I had to have packages my first year. That was my pressure cooker issue at the time.
So now, great. So that brings me to, I did have that question for you. What is the hardest part of starting a business? Like when you're
Mm.
starting a business, what is the hardest part of starting your business?
Thinking that you know everything. I thought that I knew everything. I
Okay.
thought I knew what people wanted, what they needed from me. And I had written my business plan to that, right? You write your business plan and you say, here's 5, 6, 7 things that I want that I'm going to provide and all that kind of stuff. And then you realize that you don't know. Like you start, and if you're not flexible in business, you'll shut down because you're like, what am I doing? What's happening here? So I did that for a minute. And then I realized I didn't know anything and that people were wanting to buy certain things from me that were not particularly on my business plan. And I had to figure out, was this a pivot? Did I need to pivot into something else? Or was this just a meantime for me to kind of like perfect the other things that I was doing or whatever?
Mhm.
So I had to kind of like do that. Yeah.
Great, great. That's that. Yes, you have to. So it sounds like you have to make some of these failures before you
You
can
have to
really
fail.
identify what your
Absolutely.
pressures are
Mm-hmm.
in your business. And then
Mm-hmm.
once you find the pressures, what do you tell our business owners, especially if they're new to starting business and they're in the pressure cooker right now and they're not selling the products that they thought that they would sell, or they don't know how to market? Because I
Mm-hmm.
know all of those things are critical to having a thriving business. What would you tell a new business person to do?
You can't be the smartest person in your room. You cannot be, first of all, you can't be the only person in your room. You cannot, like, I don't know of anyone, honestly, that have just started their business and did everything without having critical people around them.
Okay.
So before I even started my business, okay, let me tell you how crazy I am. I had this idea. I thought that it may be good, but I wasn't sure. But I wasn't ready or willing to take the leap of faith to just do it. So I remember going to masterminds. I went to and had meetings with people that I knew that were $1 million producers. And I said, here's an idea that I have. Go and tell me to go and sit down somewhere. Like, I really honestly was okay with them telling me no. And every time I went in front of them and talked to them about Girl Friday, they said, go, do it. They gave me a piece of the puzzle. They added on to it. They gave me more than what I could ever bargain for. They said yes to me when I absolutely wanted them to say no. I was like, you know what? I'm okay over here on the sideline over here. I do not have to do this. This is an idea, but you've been in business for a long time. You are millionaires. So if you say no, if you don't see any idea, if it's not a good idea, I don't want to do it. And they kept saying yes. So if you're starting your business, is who do you know that's around you that you know is not going to tear your idea up, tear your idea up, but be someone that would look at the business and just make sure that it sounds like you need to know that it's sound. You need to kind of like start thinking about the things that you need to put in place in order to have it. You know, I was just actually doing this on my podcast and talking about strategy planning and having a strategic planner come in and look at your business and see the loopholes, the holes that you're missing, the things that you're missing.
Now, when you say having someone come in and having a support team, I agree with you. Will that help some of your pressure points, or will you still have pressure in business?
You're going to have pressure in business. It's not going to stop pressure. What it will do, though, is what I was saying on my podcast is, okay, so I have a rear view mirror that shows me the back, but it doesn't show me all the way back. It only shows me a certain vision point. I have my side view mirrors when I'm driving. They help me see things on the side of me so that I can see and I can drive and I can move or whatever. But there's a blind spot that I'm going to always have. And there's going to be oncoming traffic. I mean, as much as the GPS will tell me where I'm going, and much as my rear view mirror will show me what's behind me, and as much as the side mirrors show me something, I'm not going to be able to see what's coming. Okay. And I'm not going to be able to not only see what's coming, I'm not going to be able to see some of the blind spots that are on the side of me. I can't see everything. What a strategic planner does is help you see from a different vantage point. So if you're working in business and you're just writing down and you're doing your task for the day, you have a bunch of tasks that you have. When you do those tasks, you are working you're working in the weeds. You're working in the weeds. You're getting your work done. You're a worker bee, like you're getting the things done. When you look at it from another vantage point, which is like from a higher vantage point, and you're looking at the business and not in the business, you're able to see so much more. Now, a strategic planner, what they're able to do really is maybe take it a step further, and they're able, because of their background, they've seen some things. They're seasoned. They understand business. They understand some of the possibilities that could happen. And they're just opening your vision point so that you can see it a little bit better.
Oh, that makes sense though. If you're starting business and in this time and you really want to thriving.
You want a thriving business. Like, I don't know anyone who wants to go into business and within a couple of months or within a year or within 2 years in their business. No one is going in there thinking that they're going to not have this business. If you go into business, you're going in with the best intentions, the best thoughts about your business and what you're doing.
Oh, do we have some questions out there? Let's see. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, on my YouTube. Thank you for being here with the YouTube followers, and we appreciate the comments. And we thank you. Again, if you have any questions for Takisha about pressure cooker, being in business and in pressure, please share those questions tonight. We'll be answering questions, and you can also call in if you'd like to call in to the WBOL show. You can call in too. I did have the number in front of me, guys. I do apologize. Let's see, what did I write it at? Well, maybe I didn't write it down. I thought I did. Oh, hold on. I do have the number. So we can call in if you like to call in today. You can call in at 615-227-1470. Yeah, I found it. And and shortly we'll take a commercial in a moment. Mr. H, if you'd like to come on and do us a commercial shortly. We'll do a commercial. And so we'll be back. If you have any questions, we'll be coming right back to answer those questions. Thank you. Give us a couple seconds for the commercial.
Okay, and I think that one of the things that we need to do as we're like talking through this is to really kind of like talk about like what are the pressure points, and which I think we've already talked about a little bit of that.
Oh, I do.
And I talked about my first year.
Those are good points.
And that pressure point, but then every year is another challenge. So once you feel like you've gotten over one hump or one thing, there's always another situation or something else that happens that you have to address.
I love that you said that, because I feel like on my way over here, I was having that feeling too. Because I feel like in life, when you're in business, especially as a woman, you have to stay willing to be uncomfortable. That's what comes to mind when I think of being in the pressure cooker. And you can't take that lid off because until it is totally done. Right,
Yeah.
You gotta kind of just move through the uncomfortable part of it. There's many a days, I'm sure, in business, people feel like I need to quit. What would you tell them when the pressure is on and you've made it through your first and your second year, and you're facing another pressure?
You know what? When you just said that, it made me think of like the Kenny. I don't know if it's Kenny Rogers, when he says know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run.
Yes.
You better count your money when you're sitting at the table. The fact that I know the entire song is crazy.
I love that song too, though. I don't know the words that well, but I know it's song because I used to work at Cracker Barrel and they played it all the time at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, you have to really be able to kind of like sometimes take a moment and stop for a moment and say, okay, is this legitimate? Is this the right timing? Is this the right situation? You have to do that. You have to take the time to do that and to really, again, get around people that can help you. Sometimes it's just that you don't know what you don't know and you're caught up in your world and you need to come out of your world so that you can, again, have a strategy planning session or something to help you.
Yeah, I do.
Like if you don't have strategy, like I was also saying on my podcast, like you can have a situation where you are working through something and you're doing it, and a strategy planner will help you with the process. Like they can see things that you can't see. Like I said, okay, so I was talking about hindsight, like being able to see behind you and see what's going on that happened behind you. So you're able to like look at a situation or a person or a situation and say, okay, I've learned this, or I've figured this out because of something someone else did in the past, right? And then you have foresight. For is like going forward. You're wanting to look ahead. You have this item or this service or this product that you want to move forward with. And if you have that in front of you, like what are some of the other things that you can do to maximize, right? And so you have hindsight and foresight, but you also have insight. Insight is right now, like what is happening today? Okay, yes. That's in my world that I can take reference from and use it. And so a good strategy planner should be able to help you look at all vantage points and be able to see it from all vantage points. Someone else has done what you've done or wants to do what you've done before. Maybe not the actual industry, but like the launch party that you're going to have. Like, what you need to do in order to launch this product or whatever. They already have. How many people have launched something before? Can you not use the look backwards, look, behind the hindsight and see something that someone else has already done? You don't have to recreate the wheel. And then you have like that foresight that helps you kind of like look ahead and say, you know what, Robin, you're here, but where are you going to be 10 years from now?
Yeah.
Like this one thing that you're doing today can take you to being an Oprah.
Yeah, I hear you. I get what you're saying.
It's one thing.
You're doing the focus on the one thing project now that can open doors.
But you need to maximize this. Like,
Well,
okay, so one way you maximize it, I'm here with you, right? So
mm-hmm.
we're trying to maximize this opportunity that we have here to be on a radio station to talk. You're going to maximize it by connecting with other people and things like that. You're always
Yes.
maximizing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
You're going to have your own stuff. One day you're going to have like your bag over there. You're going to have people buying your bag, your RFD top bag and everything.
Yeah.
You're maximizing. You're going to write a book. When you write that book, or if you've written a book, and you're going to maximize that with what you're doing. Like all of that is media generating things that you can do that will help you in what you're doing. So all of those things holistically come together
Mm-hmm.
so that you can do what you're doing.
I see what you're saying, and it opens. Well, it could put you in bigger platforms. You never know what
You
doors
never
of
know who's
opportunity
listening.
will open up.
You
From
never
you
know if
just,
someone's going to go to your page and see something.
yeah, that's powerful.
But if you're not doing it,
well, that's right. You got to get started. Now you got to get started
You gotta
somewhere
get started.
on one. And I like what
Mhm.
you're saying, focusing on the present moment, what you can do. I
Mhm.
think that's a lot of times where people get so overwhelmed in business, like
Mhm.
just focusing on that one thing, even though you got pressure.
Mhm.
You did say to remember to focus on the one thing you could do today. So,
Mhm.
one of my pastors, Dr. Ben Tanker would say, I remember him leaving me a nugget, thinking about life, as you said, sometimes in the pressure cooker. I was like, do the tough thing first. I think sometimes in business, the thing that you're scared of the most, you should do that first. I like get through your nose. You know what I'm saying? Go for your nose in business. You know, even though you. And I even tell myself I have the support I need. Sometimes you have to tell yourself that until the support shows up, because it is those things that you run into in the pressure cooker. You know, do you want to get out, and you want to feel like somebody take the lid off? You know, you kind of sometimes get those in those places. Like I got that working. Now I got to get the other part working, or I'm not doing so well in that. So those are very good tips that you shared with us about about having the pressure in business, and those are so real.
And you have to when you're at that point. There's this point in the pressure cooking cycle when it is at its hottest. You have to apply pressure as well. Like you can't give up. Like you have to exhaust all option and not give up. So you have to apply pressure yourself to this as well. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you can't let a no be the final no. Like you have to keep going.
Well, I think this message is perfect for our listeners and viewers who are starting business, in business, thinking about starting a business. I think it's perfect because I was just on the way here seeing somebody post on their page that they would have gave up if they would have quit. You know, they wouldn't be where they are now.
Now that you say that, I have to tell you something. Okay, this is 2019. I had been in business for 2 years, and I had some successes, but I was at my end. So it was Christmas it was that entire, it was like the Christmas season. I was on my couch and I was just like, okay, I've had enough. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm giving up. I'm letting go. I'm not going to shut down the business, but I'm not going after any more work. I was done. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to let go, is what I said. And I not only sat there and said that, but I also was basically saying that, like, once that work was over, the work that we did have, I just wasn't gonna push it anymore. So, are we ready to go?
We're gonna
This is
go
a
on a commercial.
cliffhanger.
Oh,
This
we'll
is a
be right
cliffhanger.
back. We got
We'll
a
be right
commercial.
back.
We'll be right back. Thank
The
you.
old way of living with diabetes is a pain.
You can talk.
That was a really good cliffhanger, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was good. I loved it. So we'll come back to that. I'm gonna.
You want to play two or just play one and play another one later?
We'll play two. You think?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Give us a second. We'll do two commercials. I'm gonna put this on mute. Welcome back to RFD Talk. We're back here with Takisha. Takisha, tell us more. You left us with some juicy.
A cliffhanger here because I was 2019. I was on my couch and I was like, okay, this business is not working. I was on my couch for 2 weeks. So that like the week going into Christmas, the week after Christmas, so all going into the holiday, and then also going into the new year. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to go after business. I didn't know how to get out of my contracts that I was already in, but I was not going to renew them anymore. And I wasn't going to go, and I was going to just stop any work from coming in. I just wasn't going to take and accept any work. And I was just at that place that I did not know how to move forward, so I wasn't going to. And I was absolutely okay with going and finding me a job somewhere, a 9 to 5.
Oh.
And saying enough is enough, honey. I'm like, I'm done. And then something happened. I received a word from God, and the first word was, it was like this. There was a scripture where this man, like this, there was an owner of the land, and then there was the owner of the vineyard, and then there was a worker on the land, like the manager of the land. And they were talking about this tree that was not producing. And the tree, I think it was a fig tree or something like that. And he said, basically, he was like, the owner said, let's cut the tree down because it's not producing.
Mm.
And the manager of the land was like, no, let's give it a year. And if it doesn't produce, I'll till the land around it. I'll do the things that I need to do. And if it doesn't produce in a year, then we'll cut it down. And I heard God say, give it a year. Now, this was 2019, the end of 2019, going into 2020. So I'm like, okay, God, I heard you. I felt like this. Okay, let me try again. Let me go back out again and try again. So I called one of my mentors and I said, Terrence.
Oh, yeah, he's a great mentor. Yes, I do too.
I called Terrence and I was like, Terrence, I need you. We met for like maybe 3 or 4 sessions, and we started like cutting stuff off my business, like taking stuff, like doing what that manager said he was going to till the land. We started tilling the land around the business. We're moving things, started to write down like our goals and all of that. And then I said, okay. So I started hiring more people for the work that was coming. And then the pandemic happened. Literally, I had a meeting with my team on one day. And then like 2 or 3 days later, we were quarantined. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I just heard you say, keep going. And now look at me. Like, what in the world am I going to do?
Oh, but that was so uncomfortable.
It was so uncomfortable. I was in the pressure cooker all over again. You know what I'm saying? I had just gotten out of the pressure cooker, and here I was still in the pressure cooker saying, what am I going to do? And it just so happens that when I did that, I prayed again, and I heard God say, I actually saw a vision of a flower, and the flower had grown through concrete. And I heard him say, if a flower can grow through concrete, so can your business, so can you.
Wow.
In adversity, you can grow. Tesla, one of the biggest like car manufacturers that build these beautiful cars, did not lose in the middle of a pandemic. My business grew exponentially 2020. It did not suffer at all.
Wow, that's great. That's an awesome story.
I was in the pressure cooker. And what I had to realize was I had to go back and be fortified in the word that I received when I first started my business.
Wow. You had to go back to
to remind myself
what God has said.
Of what God has said.
Wow.
And then he reminded me as well.
Wow. So that's awesome. So what is so unique about your company?
I couldn't have answered that question a year ago, but last year we went through a metamorphosis. And so we were in a pressure cooker again. Because we often find ourselves.
I love it.
So we're in the pressure cooker, and we had this vision of what we thought we were saying in the market, but I didn't know if it was translating to other people. So I hired a strategy planner to come into my business last year. And I'm a strategic planner, but I had to hire someone to come in and look at my business. And what we found out was that the things that we thought about our business and the things that we were saying were two different things. The design, we had this thing like eat the frog early. It was like our design, our logo was a frog, and it was talking about like, do those hard things first, as you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things we tried to do, and we were moving, but I thought we could do better. So we hired this person to come in, and what we found out, what makes us different than everyone, that I can say that now, and I couldn't say that a year ago, was that we are a virtual executive assistant team. How we're different than a virtual, so there's virtual assistants, and then there's an executive assistant, and a virtual executive assistant. What makes us different is that so a virtual assistant, you give them a task, they go and do the task that you told them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. You give us a task, and we're trying to create it and make it a solution-based environment where we're creating, like, you're going to do that thing again. So why not have a process in place? Why not have the things that you need in place in order to do what you do?
Okay.
So we are different, inherently different in that, and how we set ourselves apart is we partner with you to help you build your business.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So if you're going to look for someone like to help you with whatever, okay, you can go and do that. Or you can have Girl Friday go in and really research for you, find a solution for you, find the thing that's going to help you, ask you the right questions to make your business succeed. So we really look at, you give us something, we don't just take it and do it. We really look at, is it something that's that's duplicatable, something that we need a process for, something that's going to, like when you build collateral for your business, going to help you so that you have the things that you need to grow your business.
Wow. How did you come up with your name for your company? I just have to hear the story. I love the name of your company. So tell us, how did you come up with that?
When I first started, it really was going to be more real estate driven. I had worked with a number of real estate agents. I was working for a company, and he was a business coach, and he was coaching a lot of real estate people. I also coached a lot of real estate people, and they always said that they needed a back office person to help them with their paperwork, right? So at first, it was going to be some kind of like crazy name called like real estate, whatever it was, real estate, something boring. It was like so boring, like real estate helper, real estate something like so boring. And then I went to, remember I told you like in the beginning, I was going to masterminds. I was going to people I was waiting for them to tell me no. And I ended up going to my old boss, and I was like, he's a $1 million producer as well. And I went to him and I said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. He was like, yes, you should do it. And then he started looking, he was a financial advisor. So he started looking at the finances behind it. This is what you need to do, blah, blah, blah. Like, again, everybody that I came to gave me a piece of the puzzle. He was giving me a piece of the puzzle, the things to think about financially. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, fine. So he just happened to be sitting there, and we were having lunch, and he said, he was asking his assistant, did she need a Girl Friday? And I said, what? I said, repeat that again. Like, what did you just say? And he said, I was asking his assistant. He was asking his assistant did she need a Girl Friday to help her with some things or whatever, because they were real busy right now. And I said, what is a Girl Friday? I've never heard that term, Girl Friday. Mm-hmm. And he said, there's a movie called His Girl Friday or something like that. That's a black and white movie. Mm-hmm. I should go and check it out. And I said, okay. And I left him like chewing on this Girl Friday thing.
I love it. I
And
think it's so cute. I think it's so adorable. When I first seen you launch it, probably 4 years ago, because I've been following you for a while now. We became friends
through Toastmasters.
Tons of years ago now. But so I was like, I love this Girlfriend Friday, girl. I wanted to sign up. Wouldn't even know what I was trying to sign up for. But I love the name, so I wanted the listeners, and that was one of my questions for you. I wanted to get that in my head. How did you get that? So that was cool. So I'm glad you went with that.
I went with that, or there's some kind of real estate relief. It was like real estate relief or something like that. Do you need relief? And it was something so boring.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You mentioned that some of your strategists said something to you about financial. When you're talking to some of our listeners here, some of our listeners are listening or viewing, and they may be listening later or maybe listening in the future. What do you say starting a business? How much do you think they should have in investment? Like just to kind of like going into the pressure cooker. Like what do you think they should do, or what do you think?
Don't do what I did. I just jumped. I was just like, I'm going, and I have like me a couple clients. And I'm just going to run out there and see what's going to happen, honey. Just do not do what I did, okay? So I gave my boss like 6 weeks notice or something like that because I did so much for him. So I gave him like 6 weeks notice that, honey, I will see you later, okay?
So let me just make sure I heard you.
Okay.
So you jumped out there into the pressure cooker we're talking about. Into the pressure cooker. I was just curious to see what ball figure you would say start off with so you can kind of start your heat up. But you just stepped out there and you left your job, is what I heard you say.
I left my job in 6 weeks.
Okay, more. Tell me more.
And let me tell you, here's another pressure cooker. Like, so this is the beginning pressure cooker. I left my job. I went. I had a conference that I was going to as well that week that I left, and it was supposed to be a conference where I was going to really, literally be in front of like my clients, because remember I was talking about real estate. So I went to a real estate convention that was in Las Vegas. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to meet people. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. Okay. I literally probably just had my business cards were probably still damp. Okay.
I love it still damp.
My website was probably just up. You didn't hear me? Like I had 6 weeks to get my website up. Got my website. I'm literally, honestly, I mean, was it Kinko's back in the day? I mean, but you know,
yes,
whatever.
It was Kinko's. I remember Kinko's.
But it was like whatever. So I literally said, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to meet a lot of people, and that would be the start. And I already had 2 clients. Okay, and I left and went on this trip, spent all this money in Las Vegas. And came back with not one client.
Oh wow!
Okay, because like just think about it. You're meeting people. They're there to learn stuff, but they were there to celebrate their achievements and stuff like that. They were going from conference room to conference room and all that kind of stuff that I couldn't really be in. So I could only see them during the night and like in between things or whatever. And so it just was not a good smart move to go to Las Vegas when you're just.
I don't mean to laugh so hard. I don't mean
it was not a smart move to go to Las Vegas and to think that I was going to get any attention at all. While I was there, one of my clients decided to not really go with me. So I only had one client at the end of the day. Wow. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I was ready to run back to my employer and say, take me back, please. Like, what have I done? What have I done to myself?
So that leads me to another question. What motivates you so you tell our listeners, do not do what she said. Do not
do what I did.
Yeah, do what she did. I apologize. Because, again, it's a leap of faith, and we do celebrate your leap of faith, but you wouldn't tell the listeners to do that. Well, because to start your pressure cooker, would you have them have more of a financial strategy?
Have a financial strategy. I think that honestly, I don't know how much money I feel like you should have, because every company is a little bit different in what they provide or whatever. But here are the things that I would have in place before I left my job. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not going to say it that way.
Well, yeah, that's the question I should ask
Yeah.
you. What would you have in place?
What would I have in place? I would have my packages in place. I would have a audience that listens, that buys, that's already in play. I would definitely have a savings, but know that if there's two savings you need to have. You need to have a savings for your business, and you need to have a savings for yourself. Okay, and so you have $20,000 up front in your business. You have a savings for yourself, because what happens is we usually bring all that money in together, and we don't have anything for ourselves. So when you run out of that $20,000 that you have saved for just your business, you still have some money for yourself. You haven't lost. You still have some money for yourself. So I would give myself so much money that would be in a savings for my business. But I would not trade having the savings for myself, if that makes sense.
I love
it. Because health happens, wellness happens, things happen, family happen. Do you have any money for yourself on a rainy day?
I love those
answers.
Yeah.
So I would have 2 different bank accounts that would have that, and I wouldn't move until you're in the black.
I like that.
If you're in the black and you're making money and you're adding to that, you're replacing, because you're going to spend that $10,000. You've now replaced that $10,000. Then you need to replace it again and again before you leave. Like, you need to have, like, if your business is making money, that's good. That's awesome. That's an awesome place to be when your business is making money. But what I would make sure that you do is that you make sure, without a doubt, that you have your own savings, and that your money, that you don't leave your job until you have replaced that other money that you had for your business multiple times. Right?
Okay, multiple times. I like
that. It's not just, I just made $10,000. Okay, I had $10,000 in my account. I spent that $10,000, and then now I have another $10,000. I've replaced that $10,000. Well, you know how fast $10,000 go?
Yes, I do.
Like,
real quick.
Let me tell you something. $10,000 goes really quick.
Yeah.
So what happens when you're in a depression? Like, for every hill that you climb, there's a valley that's coming. Okay. You go up and down, you go or whatever. It's not like you have every year is a good year.
Oh, I love that you make that point. Yes, that's
so
good.
Okay, so I put 10,000. Okay, Takisha, I got the $10,000 that the seed money that I have for this business. I made that. That's not enough, because you're gonna go through a valley. Like in scripture, it was like 7 years of good, of abundance, and then 7 years of bad. So do you have enough money to deal with 7 years of bad?
Oh, that's good. That's really good advice right there.
And so it doesn't have to be 7. I'm just giving an example.
Right.
But do you have enough money to withstand the bad time?
I like that. Before you decide to leave your job.
Before you leave your job, make sure that you have that kind of money in place, and that you've replicated that 10,000, or if it's 20,000, that you've replicated that over and over and over again, so that you have enough. So you may want to have $50,000 by the time you leave.
I like
or
that.
more,
That's
according
good.
to what you're doing.
It is
all in what you're doing.
That does make sense. And like you said, depending on the business and how fast your money grows in your business and what type of business is thriving for you. I like that tips. Great. So what motivates you when you're in the pressure cooker? What motivates you?
To not lose. God said exceedingly abundant, like he said, exceedingly abundantly above what I can think or imagine. Like the effort and the energy that I'm putting toward this, and the belief system that I have that I'm doing the right thing, and that if I do the right things, that as I do good, that good will come back to me. So it's that okay, Lord, it's like me and the Lord, like running this race.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that there are not going to be times when things break down, we go through situations and we go through those things. That inherently is going to happen. We can't control everything. But what motivates me is that I am building for legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I am built like one of the things I may have said this like my first time on your show, like what would hurt me the most is that if I've spent all of this time, this energy, all of this focus on something that doesn't live past me.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to go and I didn't, if and I couldn't reconcile that I've done all of this, and then sometimes I was away from my family. I could have had more time with my father. You know, if I got married again, like, you know, like the things that ring true that you can't really, it's your family, your friends, the people. It's not the money. You're going to leave the money, but it's you're being in the hearts of other people. So if I were to go through all of this and then the business folded and I'm gone, that would absolutely disappoint me because I put a lot of time in it. So I look at this for business owners as well. They have worked 2 and 3 jobs to just get somewhere. They work for whoever they're working for, and then they turn around and they have a full-time part-time job. You know what I'm saying? Where they're doing their business. And then sometimes they have to also go out and do something else to make money. And I always say to myself, what would happen if they were to leave this world and nothing goes beyond them? Like that's wasted time, wasted energy. Could have been if I'm gonna do this, I want to leave a legacy. If I'm going to do this and spend time coming out here to you and having this show, and then where I could have been with family, was it worth it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think that everybody has to come to terms with that.
Absolutely.
Is the time, this 20 to 40 hours that they're working on their side hustle, if it doesn't manifest something, was it worth it?
That's a good question for our listeners to think about because it is a sacrifice that you're saying.
It's a sacrifice.
It's very much of a sacrifice when you spend a lot of time on something that you love and you.
I saw this picture one time. It was a picture of this building, and all the floors were like dark except for this one floor, this one like side, and it was a light in there, and it was like, and it had like this picture, like this thing that says entrepreneur, and it was just talking about like, you know, everybody's at home. But here's this entrepreneur grinding. You know what I'm saying? We're grinding. We're spending all this time. We spend a lot of the time, like there's some people who are working 40 hours or more, sometimes 80 hours or more a week doing business for their employer. And then the rest of it is doing business for themselves. And so I know that if you're doing that, then you're not spending quality time with your family. You're not spending quality time with your friends. You can't be if you're doing 80 hours or more of work. And that's what, in the African American community, that's what we do. Sometimes we work even more than that, you know?
Yeah.
And so
That's true.
if that's the case, what I don't want to do is die not making it worth it for me.
That's good. That's good. I was just listening on the radio. D.L. Hooley was just mentioning someone we all might know. I don't know him that well, but he passed. And what you're saying just makes me think about that. He had a platform, and the gentleman was a relationship expert.
Oh, yes, I know what
And
you're
so,
talking about.
yeah, and so they were
That's
saying,
a whole nother subject
I
right there.
know,
Ooh,
but
Lord.
that's I know it's just interesting that you said that because people will know you what you done and how you made them feel and so your life is saying to people who you are
Yeah.
and how you made people feel and so definitely want to pay attention to, like, am I really doing what I love doing, and wanting to leave it here to grow and expand itself
Mm-hmm.
and to be more of who I really
Mm-hmm.
am.
And
Right.
wouldn't it be sad? That's where I'm at is, wouldn't it be sad to live this life and do all of those things, and then it ends when you leave? Like,
Yeah, it'd be
it
really
doesn't.
sad.
That would be really sad if that's what happened. And I think that that's what it makes me want to come here on a Monday afternoon when I know traffic may be bad on the way going back, and don't care, because like I want to make sure that businesses are looking at it from a global perspective, that it may not be time to give up. You have to kind of like figure that out. But the bigger thing is for you to keep going and seeing what it's going to be. And sometimes that means coming outside of yourself and saying, I don't know.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know everything. And getting into mastermind groups, getting into other groups that are, or hiring a strategy planner, hiring a coach, hiring someone that's going to be able to help you see that there's more, and that you're not a failure. It's just that you need to kind of change some things around to kind of like keep moving and make some changes to what you're doing.
I love that. So, can you tell our viewers how and what methods do we find girlfriend? Excuse me, is it
Girl Friday.
Girl Friday? I'm slowing down because I talk so fast sometimes. Girl Friday. Where do you promote your business at? So, what type of methods do you, so our guests and listeners can find you?
Okay, so you can find me on girlfridaybusinesssolutions.com. Girlfridaybusinesssolutions.com. I do on my website give a 30-minute like free consultation to businesses, so they can go online and kind of like tell me some of the issues that they're having with their business, and I give a 30-minute consultation. We're on Facebook and not Twitter maybe, but we're on Instagram and all of it, and then also on LinkedIn. So you can find us there, but it's just girlfridaybusinesssolutions.com.
Great. We are so excited to have you here at WOL and the RFD Talk Show, because we as business women, we have to really learn what it means to be in the pressure cooker, not to give up. And as we know, it is our time.
And just know that it comes. It's cyclical. It's going to come.
Okay.
It's what you do with it that matters. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love that.
It's not
part.
that it's not going to come.
Okay.
It's just that you need to have the things in place to override that pressure cooker and go through the process.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say, like I said again, we're happy to have you, and we're so glad to learn all these nuggets today, because now I know when the pressure's on, just stay motivated, stick with what God is giving you, and know that He's with you, and not to give up, because you want to leave a legacy to with your brand and your name. That is the intentions of your life, to be extended on to your family and family members, and
your generations of generations, right?
Yes.
Generation to generation, we want them to feel the imprint of RFD with your grandkids and your children's 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 children. You want them to be able to feel that significance, and feel that the power, the money that comes along with it. You want them to feel that. You want to leave a legacy.
Absolutely. That's really definitely what we want to do. We appreciate you all coming on tonight. If you're here on the replay, or if you're here in present right now, we want to say thank you, listeners and viewers on YouTube and Facebook, and WOL listeners. I'm so happy to be here again. We'll see you next week. We hope that your week will go well, and we know that God is with you. We pray that you have a blessed evening. And I'm Robin F. David. I'm inspiring you to embrace, love, and nurture yourself. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you, Takisha. Bye, listeners and viewers.
WOL. Great. God, that goes so quickly, doesn't it?
It does sometimes. It does. Sometimes I'll be saying
Well, that's my song right there.
I'll be saying, it's over. I'll be telling Mr. H to say, I said, Mr. H, it went fast.